Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ladies Room Talk Show. I'm Clarissa Kenty, your Kingdom concierge. Listen, I'm so excited about today. Happy Monday to everyone inside the Ladies Room. Did you guys have a great weekend? I know I did. Listen, I had an opportunity to go to Atlanta this weekend with a good friend of mine from my church, and we went to a prayer conference in Atlanta, Georgia, and an amazing pastor that I've been connected to. I was connected to her when she came to our church. She is a powerhouse in the kingdom. She comes on every day, Monday through Friday. And if you're in the Birmingham area, she comes on at 4 a.m. every single morning, and she prays for a solid hour. If you're in the Eastern Standard Time, she comes on at 5 a.m. every morning. Solid hour of prayer and intercession, and she is a beast at it, guys. And we had an opportunity, Chiquita and Minister Chiquita and I had an opportunity to go to the Outpour Prayer Conference 2023. It was hosted by none other than Pastor Angelique Simmons, and let me tell you, it was a true prayer conference. You know, sometimes you can go to a prayer conference and it's very little prayer, but a whole lot talking and preaching and that sort of thing. But this conference, guys, was like none other. And it was truly an actual prayer conference where we went in hard from day one. Thursday night, we were there, Friday all day and into that night, praying and get prophetic words just all over the place, and just really and truly had a magnificent time. My home girl from South Carolina, Pastor T. Renee Glenn, was in the building as well, did a phenomenal word that came forth, and people were really set free. She laid hands on people. People were delivered and set free from whatever bound them. I'm telling you, I am on steroids right now, and I know Minister Chiquita is doing the same thing. You know, one thing I've realized as being a minister for over 20 years now, I realized that you can give so much of yourself during a day-to-day to where sometimes you're operating on fumes sometimes. And it's always good for you to be in a space where you can be poured back into. And truly, I can say that my cup is running over right now. And I think I can run on to see what the end's going to be. It was really, really good, guys. And if you're missing out on prayer and really connecting with someone that can really just bombard the gates of heaven, be sure to go to Pastor Angelique Simmons, or that's Angelique Ministries. Go out there and like and follow that page, guys, and follow her. Again, if you're in Birmingham, Alabama, or in the Central Standard area, she comes on at 4 a.m. every single morning. She's been doing that for a while. And then if you're in Eastern Standard, she comes on at 5 a.m. But again, a magnificent weekend we had this past weekend. So a big shout out to my girl, Minister Chiquita Gwen. Had a great time with her. Also, if you were in the ladies' room last week, you know that my husband and I cut up as usual inside the ladies' room. And you know, we're past due. You know, we are all forever reaching various milestones in our lives. And so we were talking about empty nesting. So, you know, we talked to you about that. But this past Monday, we discussed Minister Ernest Kenty being retired and what life looks like with that. Y'all, cut up so bad. My husband does not know how to behave, even inside the ladies' room. But anywho, if you missed the ladies' room talk show last week, go back. You can swing over to my personal page, or you can jump over to the ladies' room, the LADIEZ, the ladies' room talk show page, and go out there and watch that, guys. You'll be thoroughly entertained, but you'll also be thoroughly educated on some things, you know, talking about retirement, how to prepare for that, some of the ins and outs of retirement, some of the fears that some people have about retiring. All of that we put out there on the table, and it was just really a great show. So big kudos to my sweetie pie, Minister Ernest Kenty, for hanging out with me inside the ladies' room last week. And his birthday was last week too. So we had a good time. I took off on last Tuesday, which was his birthday, October 10th. And guys, when we were dating, he said, you know, the best way to remember my birthday. And I said, what is that? I'm the perfect 10, 10, 10. And I'm like, what? I don't think I'm gonna marry him. Here we are 30 years later, y'all. Oh my God. Craziness, pure shenanigans. But go out there and check out the show. What we really did and truly had a great time. So tonight, guys, listen, we're celebrating our breast cancer survivors. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. October, guys, all month long. And you know, every year we have some powerful women who are coming in, and either they are in the midst of the fight or they've been able to bust that thing in the face. And so we love to celebrate our survivors. And tonight, we have an amazing soul coming in tonight. This is her first time hanging out with us inside the ladies' room, but truly, we believe this will not be her last. And I'm so excited that she's taking out the time to hang out with us tonight because she is preparing to go on a cruise, y'all. A cruise with 19 other breast cancer survivors. I don't think that ship is going to be the same once they get off of it. I'm just saying. I mean, these ladies got a lot to celebrate, got a lot to be thankful for, and I'm so excited and so honored to have the lovely and the beautiful Miss Tonya Allen inside the ladies' room. Hello, Tonya.
Hello, how are you?
You know what, Tonya? Do you sing?
No.
You can't sing?
No, man.
Girl, you sound like a good... Hey, look, you sound like a good Shirley Caesar.
Oh, I received it. I received it.
I think if you open up your mouth, I believe a tune will come out.
Out of my belly.
Let it come out. Welcome to the ladies' room, girl. I'm so excited about you being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I heard that you have a testimony out of this world.
Yes,
and I'm so excited because I love to hear testimonies like yours, because what that does, it encourages people, not only those who are going through the fight, but it also encourages people who may not have breast cancer, but in the midst of another kind of fight. Yes. And so when we can talk to people like you, Tonya, who, had to make a decision, either fight or flight. And you made the former. You decided to fight, and I love to hear stories about how God has just come in and turned that thing around for his children, for his women, for his girls. Because God loves his girls now.
Oh yes,
He loves his dudes too, but he loves his girls now. He took time when he made us.
That's right.
So, Tonya, tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us about your testimony. Tell us about what you do as an occupation.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So I am at this time 48 years old. In 2019, it was at the end of 2019, December, I thought my life was on the move. I was in school working on my administrative certification. And then I just went to my normal yearly checkup. And I talked to my doctor. I was like, hey, she said, how's it going? I'm like, oh, I'm great. Nothing's going on. I said, but I got this little thing. I said, but it's nothing. And she said, what do you mean you've got this little thing? I was like, but it's nothing. I said, it was there, but it's gone. And so thank God for Dr. Brenda Taylor at St. Vincent's. She
That's
said,
my doctor too.
She said, her. Oh, honey, we're sending you downstairs. And she ordered a 3D mammogram. So I was just like, oh, it's nothing, disregard it. And through that journey, I had a lot of prods and tests. And in January of 2020, my husband and I were asked to come into the office. And I said, they don't want anything. They just wasted my time. I got something to do.
Right.
And when we sat down, the doctors came in, of course, and she said, you have. And after she said, you have, I remember nothing. I remember no words. I just remember sobbing and crying. And the one thing that Dr. Susan Winchester at St. Vincent's said to me, she said, it is not a death sentence. And so she took her arms around me. She prayed for us both. And that just meant the world to me. And I just have to say, my faith was not as strong in those years because I was in the mindset of saying, I,
Wow.
not nothing like Jesus was on my mind at that
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
But I think God uses every little situation to bring the glory to his name. And I
Yeah.
think that's really what happened in my case. I was
Mhm.
diagnosed 3.5 years ago with a stage 1B type of breast cancer. Um, in this aspect, I want to say that I was indecisive. Dr. Winchester has suggested just doing a lumpectomy, which is just cutting the cancer out in the affected area and stitching it back up, and you live life as normal. But in the midst of everything, I got on my knees and I just surrendered to God. And I said, Lord, I don't know what to do. I know you hadn't heard this squeaky voice in a while, but I need your help in
Yes.
this aspect. I need to know what to do. And when I did that, I'm a Delta. I went to an event, came back home,
Mhm.
and my phone rang. My cell phone rang. It was a young lady that I knew was going to call me with some information on some things that she had experienced battling. And with that, she said, "Now I've had this," and it jumped to the other side on me. She said, "I'm asking you to do your research and to find out what'll be best for you." She said, "Your life depends on it. So you can't just take what the doctor says. Whose report will you believe?"
Yes.
And we were believing the report of the Lord.
Mhm.
So I hung up with her and I was pretty much thinking, okay, I'll sit down and research. My cell phone rang 2 times within a 30-minute period. Within that 30 minutes, I don't know who they were. It was two ladies. I spoke to them, I know I did. And they told me exact same thing that she had told me. But when I went back to my cell phone to look to find their numbers, the only number was the first lady who called me was there. So I know there was divine intervention. God
Yes.
was talking to
Mm.
me in the only way he could get to talk to me
Yeah. Yeah.
in that regard. And so that gave me a whole lot of push because I had really pulled back
Mhm.
and just kind of in my mind, the devil gonna attack your mind first.
Mhm.
And so through that, I was able to do some research, and so I decided to do a double mastectomy. Um, in the midst of the pandemic coming in March, I
Wow.
decided I was gonna do it, and the hospitals and the world shut down. So I laid in this house for those months in my mindset going, I want this thing out of me. I want this thing
Mhm.
out of me. But it gave me a lot of time to do some soul searching, to get in my word, to build my relationship with Heavenly Father. And that is where I drew my strength.
Mhm.
It's from the word that I was reading in the Bible. I would sit here and watch 5 different preachers online.
Mhm.
Needless to say, there was one preacher that somebody shared him, and I joined the stream, and I can't turn it off. And that was Pastor
Mm.
Rock City Church. And so through the messages that Rock City and Pastor Mike delivered, it gave me a whole new understanding. And I joined the church for my birthday.
Well, look
Yes,
at you.
yes, ma'am.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
That
Yeah,
is so powerful, and how God came in supernaturally
right.
to speak to you, because I believe that the same God that was there in AD, BC,
Mhm.
and all of these folks' times that they were there that preceded us, I believe that's the same God that we serve. And I believe that he also operates in supernatural things,
Yes,
signs and wonders following. And
yes.
so I don't think it's strange that you got them phone calls and then you couldn't go back and track it again. I don't think it's strange at all.
Mhm.
And so, and I'm so glad that you decided to trust God.
Yes.
You
Yes.
decided to trust
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Um, talk to some of the people about, maybe because you mentioned you're married,
Mhm.
and how was it for your husband? Someone that, because husbands usually they're gonna be there for their wives now, and I know that when I had my children, I have 3 children,
Mhm.
and so that was probably one of the tough times for my husband because
Mhm.
he could not take the discomfort away from me. The only thing he could do was breathe.
Right,
Like
right,
they call
right.
it in the boss class. Just breathe. And so there would be times that he would, walk out of the room, then he kind of get himself together, then he'd come back and he'd jump on back in there again. And I would just look at him and I said, Lord, bless his heart. But how did he manage through this, and what type of foundation was he for you during this time, Tommy?
Oh, he was extremely important in my fight. My husband at that time, he was actually in mourning. He had lost his mom the year prior. And so he is her only child. And so in that regard, he was just missing her very much. And he had to kind of grow up really fast to kind of handle her business because she took ill and she was sick for a good little while. And so she passed the day after Mother's Day. So in his mindset, he was still mourning her. And here we go. And he said, he's had to sit down and get on his knees as well and say, now, Lord, you took my mom. What did I do wrong in order to have this happen now? But now we know that the fight is not for us. It was for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have 2 boys. At
Okay.
that time, my oldest, who joined the military at the age of 17, he's in the Air Force. He was going through strategic training. And so we didn't tell him. We
Of
didn't
course,
tell
yeah.
him because we didn't want him to go AWOL. We didn't want him to basically run home. He's a mama's boy.
Mm-hmm.
And for my baby boy, he at the time was around 14, and he had to really watch and see everything firsthand.
Right.
And it really hurt him. His grades and everything, basically, he became from an straight A, B student to a DF student.
Mm-hmm.
But there was nothing that I could do but pray and try to introduce him, into mama's going to be all right. Don't worry. And he's a kind of an introvert because he kind of keeps to himself. So,
Right.
but going back to my husband, when I tell you I am a planner, I like to have everything laid out. I think. I said,
Mm-hmm.
well, let me tell you, this is how it's going to go. My mom's going to do this. My aunt's going to do this. He said, no, ma'am, they're not going to do that. I'm going to do it.
All right.
No. I said, they're going to cook and you come in and wash. He said, no, I'm going to do it. So
Mm.
in that regard, I thank God for giving me the man that I have,
Yeah.
because where other men may not have basically jumped in with both feet and their whole body to say, I'm going to do it. He did.
Mm.
We had loving friends that decided to do a food train to kind of take some of the weight off him at first, right after I had surgery. For a week, we had a food train that was delivered. Of course, nobody could come in on the porch for, just bring in dinner, breakfast, lunch, and
Yeah.
dinner for
Yeah.
us. But for him to cook and to put ointment and drain my little drains that I had, he was just amazing to
Mhm.
dress me, to put up with me first off, because he had a great patient. Just really the unexpected happened. And so I couldn't be in control. I had to surrender
Yeah.
the control to God.
Yeah.
And once I did that, everything, kind of started to work out. Things that I was going through or what other people told me they had gone through, I didn't do. I didn't
Mhm.
have.
Mhm.
I know
Mhm.
they told me like on the first 13 days of my chemo that I would lose my hair. And I was so vain. I still am a little bit, but God is working on me. Yeah. Oh no. I had this little swoop girl over my eye.
Yeah,
Couldn't
yeah, yeah, yeah.
go. Let it go. And so I prayed to the Lord. I said, "The Lord, now you know I love my hair. Why are you taking it?" I said, "Please let me keep it, Lord." So he gave me 26 days with my hair. Give
Mm,
me an extra 13 to get my mind right.
mm,
And my husband, of course, had to cut it. So being bald was no fun. But I learned so much about me and who I was, and that
yeah.
the hair didn't make me. I was
Mm,
beautiful with or without it.
mm,
Yeah, yeah.
mm.
So I'm thankful
Wow, that
through
is
that
so
journey.
beautiful. That is so beautiful. I remember years ago, a young lady back in my hometown
Mhm,
got sick,
mhm.
and her husband left her,
Mm,
and because he said he just couldn't do it.
mm, mm,
And
mm,
so, I definitely
mhm.
commend your husband for
Thank
jumping in and doing what he does. And I know in his mind he's thinking, well, what else? I mean, that's what I do. I'm the
you.
husband, that's what I'm doing. But there's so many who wouldn't.
Mhm.
And there's so many who have not.
Yeah, right,
They would leave and all of this. And
right.
so, big kudos to him.
Mhm.
And we celebrate him as well, just to,
Thank you, Jesus.
put on his armor and
Mhm.
and jump in there and fight for you and fight with you,
Right,
in
right.
doing what he needs to do. So we celebrate him as well. And
Mhm.
so, Tonya, tell us what's going on with you now, girl. I mean, I know that you're part of Sisters Can Survive, and
Mhm.
that's Talisha Cash, who has been on our show several times.
Yes.
Talisha has, and I know that you're a part of that organization, which is a when I tell you the survivors and those who are still going through, y'all bad. I mean,
Mhm.
y'all sharp and sassy
Yeah.
and going places and doing things and speaking. And I
Mhm.
mean, I follow y'all, of
Yeah.
course. And so, you are a part of that. How long have you been a part of that organization?
2 years.
Okay.
When I was going through, one of the young ladies who actually made the call, she suggested that I join. I was trying to search for women who I could talk to who look
Mhm.
like me.
Right.
In that regard, there were not a lot of agencies out there. Um, at my school where I work, for years, we sent money to an organization called Susan G. Coleman. Um, but when it was time for me to go through my battle, Susan G. in Birmingham closed down. So
Mhm.
I was scratching and looking for someone who looked like me, who could tell me something. One thing that I discovered, in just to be honest, we don't talk. Our
Right.
counterparts do, but we don't. We keep our things suppressed. And so that part is not good. And so to find an organization like Sisters Can Survive, Brenda Brown Bosom Buddies, and Pink Tops, it was like I found a utopia. I
Right. Right.
I had women who were eager to talk, who were
Mm.
eager to pray, who were eager to help you in any kind of way that they possibly could. And a lot of times that was just listening
Right.
in my case. Because I it's just one of those things. I don't know of anyone yet who's had a cancer that mirrors mine. So we kind of work through some of those things in doing
Right.
research together. So
Mhm,
they've
mhm.
been a blessing to have my sisters by my side.
Yes, I'm telling you, I like what y'all are doing. I like the sisterhood. You guys look good out there.
Mhm.
And I mentioned earlier that you got a trip coming up here pretty soon,
Oh yes.
and you're gonna be on the waters here in a
Yes.
minute. So tell us a little bit about your cruise you got coming up. That's gonna be Wednesday, right? Is it
Yes, Wednesday.
Wednesday this week?
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
So tell us a little bit about that.
There will be about 19 young ladies who
Woo!
have thrived and survived, who will be attending. We'll go to Miami and then we'll get on the Virgin Cruise Line. Talisha had a vision from God that said that we were going to take the water. Last year, we went to the beach. We had a beach house right on the beach. We had dinner on the beach. We had prayer on the beach. It was just
Mm,
an amazing time
mm,
just to be with people who understand
right.
that God is first and that we have to give him reverence.
Mm,
And so that part, I will never forget. I will never forget. And so when she said God told her we were taking the water, I was ready. I put my money up. I said, now, Lord, whatever it takes. I don't want to miss out. So
yeah.
Virgin, if you know anything about the cruise line, it's adult only.
Mm.
And so they have a Scarlet Night, which their whole vision is red. So
Oh.
we have the plans to turn the whole cruise ship pink. So we'll be turning it pink.
Okay. Sounds so nice. I know you so and you deserve it, Tanya. You deserve it. And I know you're gonna have a wonderful time. How long is your trip?
Will be 4 days. 4 days,
4 days.
3 nights.
Yeah.
So
Now
I'm
this is not any type of ship. Now this is a yacht,
yacht.
right?
Yes, a yacht.
Now, what's the difference between, good old Carnival versus, the yacht?
I think it's a little bit more intimate. And like I
Okay.
said, it's adult only. And so, in that regard, you may not have so many childlike activities or family oriented, but then you can just kind of enjoy yourselves and be adults if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm excited just to lay back. We have a couple of events planned on the ship. Like I said, we're gonna have a night where we go out to dinner and we're gonna turn it pink. And so we have our formal wear. We're gonna be dressed up, girl. We're gonna get
Oh, I take plenty of pictures,
showered.
Tanya.
Yes, I will. But God has
Mhm.
been so good to us. And like I said, when you look at the women that I work alongside just to see, just to
Mhm.
see where God has taken them and to hear their stories.
Wow.
It's just so uplifting to anyone. So if
Mhm.
you are or any women out there who are going through, please join. Please join one of those organizations. If you need my information, I'll be glad to give it to you because we really want to help women survive and thrive.
Amen. Survive and thrive, guys. So look, now Tanya, I'm not very good at checking my inbox and messenger like
Uh-uh.
I should. I don't know. You may be a little bit better than that than I am. And if so, guys, reach out to Tanya if that's you. If
Mhm.
you are going through something right now, or you've gotten some information that's not favorable, or you're at the very beginning, or you might be at the very end of this thing, or you may be a survivor and you just have somebody to connect. If you
Mhm.
fall in any of those categories, reach out to Tonya. I know Tonya can connect you
Mhm.
to the right people
Right.
and can encourage you because you don't have to go through this alone.
Mhm.
And sisters can survive. Talisha Cash, good friend of mine,
Mhm.
she her testimony is huge as
Mhm.
well.
Oh
And
yeah.
so these women are awesome. And I just listen, Tonya, when you post your pictures now, tag me so I can see the pictures.
I will. I
That'll
will.
be good. So now, Tanya, before we end tonight, what I like to do with my guests is to have them to come, and you'll be on the screen here by yourself for a second, and then I'll come back in and end the show. But what I like for you to do is for you to encourage some woman today.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I probably would like for you to encourage someone who may be at the very beginning of this fight,
Mhm.
that woman who may have just found out that they have this diagnosis. I want you to speak to that woman. And by the same token, also to that woman who may be dealing with some type of issue, may not be breast cancer, maybe something else. It may be some bad news, or it may be just don't know what to do right now. I want you to speak to those women if you can. If you could share a word that I believe that God is giving you to share with them, and if you can just encourage them for me tonight. Can you do that for me?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Um, First things first, you have to know and have a relationship with God. This is a it's just a must. Um, your faith will get you through. When you're newly diagnosed, do not let Uncle Google get in your head. You can research and find out different things that are up, but do not let the Uncle Google get inside your brain in which you do not want to hear what the doctors say. God made doctors and he made reports, but we also have favor in his sight. And so with that being said, trust him that he's going to keep you and he's going to take you through and that you're going to win this fight. In my journey, it was not easy at first, but the more I trust God, the easier it got. And I didn't even think about what I was going through because I knew he was going to keep me. And so those things are what I hold dear. These organizations that we talked to you about earlier, they are there to help. My school, I didn't get to mention, at Minor Elementary, we did a donation drive to help women who are going through and who need things like mammograms, actual co-pays, gas cards to go to the doctor. Whatever you need, there are organizations that I'll be glad to get you in touch with that can help you. My school was able to raise $1,200. And in that same regard, that money is going to be used to help women just like you. Don't think that you're getting on someone's nerves. Don't think that you cannot make it. Don't think you're bothering someone. That's what we're here for. God put us on this earth to help each other. And so that is my whole goal. And I told the Lord, if he saved my life, I would use it intentionally to help others who were going through. So if it's anything I can say, anything I can do, anything I can give, I mean, I'm a giver. And I know God gives back to me tenfold whatever I give out. And so if there's something that you need desperately, wigs, or tell you locations where to get wigs, things that you may not know. Like one thing I didn't know is like your deodorant. You don't want to use deodorant any longer that has aluminum in it. And so that was something that I did not know. And through the research and through my fight, I was able to find out. None of us actually need to be using that. So your diet, exercise, and your well-being, your mindset is very important, no matter what battle you are fighting. And trusting the Lord is a must. And like I said, if there's anything I can do, anything that these agencies can do, please trust and believe we're here for you. God loves you, and I love you too. Thank you so much.
Amen. Oh, that was beautiful and so uplifting, Tonya.
Thank you.
And, one thing about what you said, we know that came from the heart. And we know that you offering anything that you can do to help people, and what we're saying, guys, and I'm going to speak for Tonya, because I know Tonya probably give everything away. Her husband be looking like, ma'am, wait a minute. But, Tonya can definitely point you guys, unless God just really moves on her to do something personally from her to you. Her solicit to you is so she can connect you with the right people. And because we don't want anybody coming through using nobody. We want to make sure that that's very clear. And I'm speaking on, I'm Tonya's advocate. So, so we can be very clear on that. But guys, definitely reach out to her so she can connect you. She's a master connector to connect you with the right people to get the things that you need done. Tonya, thank you so much for your beautiful words. And thank you for your time tonight, too. I mean, hey, I know you packing and putting your two-piece swimsuit together, all of that. So you guys enjoy yourselves, and traveling mercies to all of you. And that you, just like Jill Scott say, hey, live your best life. Have fun, enjoy it. Leave it all on the waters. Enjoy.
That's right. And that's the one thing you said that I take from what you said is to live.
Yes, that's right, guys. Live. We have to. At the prayer conference I went to this week, it was so funny. Each speaker that spoke really wasn't in the sessions for the previous speakers spoke. But all of them said the same thing in the midst of their messages. And they're all said we're in a season of a yes season.
Yes,
Meaning
yes.
that we're in a season to say yes to what God has called us to do, yes to the purpose that He has for our lives, yes to the plan that He has for our lives. The obedience of people. Obedience is better than sacrifice. We've got to be obedient to what God has called us to do. So this, guys, it's a season of yes.
It is.
Of yes. So we have to say yes to His will and
it's
yes to His way.
yes.
What God delights in us to do. So
Yes.
again, Tonya, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Well,
This is not your last time hanging out in the ladies' room now.
no, ma'am. I would love to come back.
We would love to have you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us inside the Ladies Room Talk Show. And we'll see you back here next Monday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Hey, go out there and share this post. Encourage somebody. We have thousands and thousands of people on our Facebook pages and Instagrams and all of this. And a lot of those thousands of people now, we don't know what all these folks are going through. And if you share this live on your Facebook page, you never know who this is going to touch and who may need the information tonight. So again, we take great honor in celebrating and honoring Tonya Allen here tonight. We love you, Tonya, and you are more than welcome to come back at any time. Do you have a book?
No, ma'am, but it's on the way.
I saw that. I saw it in my spirit. So get on it so we can get it.
That's divine intervention. Because thank you, Lord. I receive. Yes, ma'am. I will. I'll be back.
Yeah. Like this. Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations on your book signing when it's going to be coming up soon.
Yes, ma'am. I'll let you know.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Love you too, sweetheart. Thank you so much for hanging out with us guys inside the Ladies Room Talk Show. Have a safe, wonderful, and blessed week today. And tell somebody that you love them. Gotta show more love. Find somebody. Yes, find somebody. I love you, Tonya.
I love you.
So find somebody this week, guys. Tell somebody you love them. Love on them real good. Show them the love of Christ because God is love. All right, guys. We'll see you back here next week. Good night.
Good night.
Step into the ladies' room with Clarissa.